Brosplay!
You ready to get right toasty, bro?
3 lightly toasted Mexicans, it's the truth.
Yes, that's what I want. I want to be just a little toasted.
Is that like... So that was, that's Pulp Fiction, by the way. Does she mean high? Is that what toasted means? Like lightly toasted?
No. I'm pretty sure she's referring to their skin color.
Oh, it's a racist thing.
No, not necessarily.
I contributed to racism.
I don't think that's necessarily racist.
Oh, no. You know who doesn't give a shit?
About racism?
Yeah.
White people? I don't know where you're going with this.
I don't know. Wow, that is a lightly toasted dog right there.
Oh my god. You sure that looks like a totally baked dog to me?
Did you see Spyro like saunter off to the right of the screen, the black screen there?
I did not.
That was really weird. Yeah, these dogs are weird. They course correct. Like he'll follow me. It's really weird. Can you like do what I'm telling you to do?
I love that he has to do a circle to lie down.
I didn't even notice that. That's adorable. So Spyro has this thing, and this is what I love about how the game just doesn't explain shit to you. He has this unbelievably powerful dodge ability with the L1 and the R1 buttons.
Whoa!
That is infinite. He just keeps going.
That's almost as fast as your sprint.
It's pretty. I mean, I don't know enough about speedrunning, but I have a feeling some speedrunners use that. I don't know. I guess the charge is probably also a pretty important element.
Probably combined. Like you got to use them together.
I don't think you can do that.
I just meant certain moments it would make more sense to dash, and certain other moments it would make more sense to side roll.
Oh.
Well, because the side roll, you were having issues going straight forward, because the camera keeps trying to correct.
I can do a circle. You dick dog. Dick dog. To the rescue.
That's what we call the red eye.
Revlon?
Nope. I don't think so.
What does red eye mean?
It's a dog's boner.
Oh yeah, I was calling it Revlon.
Oh, that's just what you call it?
It's like, no, it's not my joke. Because it's like lipstick.
Oh, I've never actually heard that.
See how they course correct? It's really frustrating.
Like how they try and get right on top of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of float in midair. They do. Although
like
that was pretty effective.
That was a toast and roll.
That's how you get just a little bit toasty.
Just a little bit toasted. There's a lot of dogs here. I'm actually gonna just keep my dragonfly for now because this is a huge difficulty spike. The rest of the game, I don't remember being this difficult.
I'm also thinking part of it is it's not necessarily that this is difficult as much as you can't go through at the same speed.
Yeah.
In the last episode, you could have gone through that in half the amount of time. The one with the
thanks for calling me out.
I just meant as a physical reality, whereas this, you kind of have to take this at this rate. You kind of have to fight.
It's a painting of the area that we can leave when we get.
Oh, it
10
is.
Yeah, I don't know what it's for, but
I think it's just world building.
Wow, it's an ice menorah.
A red lake.
Wow. Yeah, I think that it's amazing that if you said the dragon's gonna be purple, I would have told you that it wouldn't be a good direction for the art style, but it works so well, and the complement of yellow in Spyro is so perfect, and it complements most of the level design colors.
Right,
like
because they pick colors to go with it.
Oh, I think more so, it was actually a color they picked that isn't in most levels. Like, he's not green like grass or blue like the sky. He's a color that doesn't, that you don't find a lot. You kind of have to, like, intentionally make some sort of purple ooze level in order to have purple in the level.
That's a good point. Red, pretty common. For sure, but yeah, purple and yellow.
So speaking of reaping, this guy's got a reaper scythe? That's actually
he's really creepy.
I'm pretty sure that's where his scythes came from. It was intended for like using it for like tall grass.
Yeah, for agriculture, absolutely.
I don't think it's a very effective weapon because it like gets stuck on stuff.
That is a very good point. It would be an effect. What?
It's a sheep or it's a chicken. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a chicken. A scythe would be an effective weapon if you were fighting enemies you could cut in half. Let's say you were an orc or something and you were fighting humans. I think that would actually work pretty well. But yeah, not for human on human combat. It's a sheep.
Yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm no expert. I didn't mean to say it like that, but I'm no expert on hand-to-hand combat, but a scythe would not be the weapon I would choose.
You definitely know you're not an expert because a scythe is not hand-to-hand.
Hundo P, bro.
Hundo P.
I'm gonna crush a couple sandos.
Can you imagine that? You agree that you're gonna have a hand-to-hand fight with someone and you show up with a fucking scythe? They would think you're such a madman.
Even better is if you just like grab a bottle and smash it on your own head first.
Right, yeah. I like to start all my fights by bottling myself.
And go, warriors! And make
Does that mean
sound
you
too.
should bottle yourself with 3 bottles?
I would recommend bottling yourself in any circumstance, really.
Or doing that to anybody. Just don't hit people with hard things.
Don't get into hand-to-hand combat unless it's a registered, consensual experience between professionals.
Right. Did you know there are states in the United States with mutual combat laws? So as long as 2 people agree to fight, they can fight in the street.
Mutual combat!
There's a video of these 2 guys fighting in front of the cops because they're legally allowed to as long as they agree to it. So the cops are just standing there watching these guys beat each other up in the street.
I did that shit in Red Dead 2. I just kept calling some guy names in front of the sheriff, and the dude punched me first, so I just fucking knocked him out.
Oh my god.
And he's like, clean. He didn't say that, but...
Apparently at one point in New Orleans, which was just jam-packed full of young men with money to spend at a certain point.
Is that a song title?
Yeah.
Young men with money to spend.
And it was so bad for dueling at a certain point that people actually had cards that they would, like dueling cards, and if you killed the other guy, you would take his card.
Sorry.
As like a collectible.
Dueling in what sense? What are you talking
Like
about?
with
dueling?
pistols. Like
What?
Dueling to the death was so prevalent.
That they made a card game out of it?
No, that they would carry around a card that was sort of like a record of the duels that they'd been in.
Oh.
And so if you killed another guy, you would take his card.
That's crazy.
How ridiculous is that?
What year was this?
Ooh, that's a great question. I believe it was in the 1800s.
Oh, I see. So this
Yeah,
is
it was definitely before they came out with semi-automatic weapons. Duels don't really work when you have semi-automatics.
So anyways, it's funny that I'm talking about cannonballs, where you're using the cannon. But this is what I mean by changing up the monotony. Like my fireball sets off the cannon. So
that's amazing.
So instead of giving me a better fire weapon, they just set the levels up in a really interesting way so that I can use my fire in a different way than normal.
And I also like that the bullets track to the guys, so you don't have to dead aim.
It's pretty extreme cannonball magnetism. I love that little loading animation too. The little like
the little Spyro.
Little Spyro, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
They changed the color in each of the games.
Dry canyon.
Yeah. She texts me dry as the Sahara.
She texted me?
Yeah.
What song is that?
It's Brockhampton.
Oh, okay, okay.
The rest of it's very rude, so I'm gonna keep it away.
Yeah, we'll stick with that.
I just felt like I just should say stuff, you know?
Sometimes it feels like the air's gotta be full. It's gotta be full of words.
I just like that's a great way to describe my entire life.
I feel like I have to say stuff.
Sometimes I just feel like I have to say stuff. That guy's dead. Like I hit that guy against a wall. So like if the concussion of just smashing into him didn't work, yeah. So these guys, so to explain the whole like not fire thing. Okay, so that didn't work because you took his shield down, but these are fireproof shields. But I can punch through the shield with my headbutt.
Nice.
Yeah. Which is like it's an interesting way to do it. It certainly seems like on paper that it would be a really boring game. It's like 2 enemy types, 2 different attack moves, but they've changed things up enough to make this a very satisfying experience.
I feel like they've done a good job with just working on the simplistic components they have instead of trying to add more components to make it interesting.
Yeah. Sonic, 3D Sonic games have this real issue where it's like they didn't know what game they were making.
Oh.
And it's like, it's almost like in some of the more egregious Sonic titles, it's almost like you could say there isn't a core gameplay. It varies so much.
Really, from the start to the end of the game.
Yeah, like you start the game running, or in some cases, some of the games like start with like snowboarding for some reason, which is, I will never agree with starting off a game not with core gameplay, which is just but you like start off like snowboarding and then you're running, which is like, okay, well this is probably the core gameplay, and then you're in a car and then you're like hang gliding, and by the way, none of these things work either, so like
None of them are smooth, you mean.
yeah, so you're spending like a lot of time on each of these things because you're trying to figure out the fuck they work, because it's like I don't know, I think they just haven't been given enough time. I think Sonic Team is probably a good group, they just don't get the time they need. It's very strange. Or maybe Sonic Team is terrible, who knows.
Something that kind of sucks these days is that there's such a push towards profitability that there's so many industries that are clearly moving in a direction that no one really likes, but no one has a solution for. And I feel like entertainment is one of those industries where, even though we're feeling it in every other industry, I feel like entertainment's one of the ones where it's the most sad, because entertainment is our culture, right? And so when, you know, we can cheap out on certain things, and the cycle will swing back and forth. We'll eventually decide that we don't want it cheap, we want it good, and then things will rise in price, so on. But when it comes to content, when it comes to the things that we all share and engage in, it just seems like we don't want to skimp out, but we are.
Well, I mean, you know, you and I talk to people who define a good show as a show with 4 seasons, just like as though that's like a way to define how good the content is. And I think Netflix has found a really good solution. It's like they've figured out that the way to get people to come back to Netflix is by making good stuff. So you come back to Netflix because you already watched something that was good on Netflix. It doesn't help them to bring you in for one movie, and then you're like, well, that was garbage because they rushed it.
Yeah, no, they want you every month. They want you to pay every single month.
And the weird thing, like now that they've become like such a huge production company, is that there's times where a show comes out and it takes me a week to finish it, and like the day before I'm done it, or the day that I am done it, another thing that suits my preferences is released like within that time frame of like it being like where I'm like, oh, I'm about to be out of shows, and then
suddenly there's
another
else.
one. And it's almost like they have like divisions like that worry about specific they must have divisions.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way you could do all that in one giant department.
Because like front page is based on you.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
I feel like I'm not worried about Netflix. I'm not worried about Crave and HBO and a lot of these other channels that are trying to do different things. I'm just more worried about how the established networks are really just doubling down. They're not, for the most part, they're not realizing that this is what people want. People want to not be treated like idiots. Instead, what they're trying to do is they're trying to rope in the few remaining idiots for the shows that they're still making. It's true.
There's a firework around here.
A firework?
Yeah.
Like another one?
Yeah, those are just boxes of fireworks. The ship was that a falcon? Okay. Cause see down there? Look, I can use my free look. He taught me how to free look. See that? There's a lockbox down there.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lock. I'm pretty sure I gotta blow it up. But I don't know where the firework is.
Huh.
Maybe it's on the castle ramparts.
Oh, we checked them pretty good already.
Sorry, go ahead with keep on your story, bro.
It just makes me, I ask the question when somebody tells me about a TV show, I just ask them what network is it on. And if they don't tell me Crave, HBO, well, I guess Crave doesn't really make their own things, do they?
I think they have originals.
Okay. But if they don't tell me that it's Netflix or HBO or AMC, something like that, I'm not interested. I just really don't want to watch something that's made by AMC.
Really?
Or no, sorry, not AMC, ABC.
Oh.
I do not want to watch that. I do not want to watch a global news or a global TV program. I just don't.
Because it's like it's polished to the point where it has no like soul behind it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think polishing is maybe a good term. Imagine taking a beautiful raw gemstone and polishing it down to a little tiny blue pebble. It's not good because it's polished. It's in fact worse because it's polished. It doesn't have any of the natural features it originally had, and that's what I feel like all of their television is. It's brutal.
That's. I think I feel the same way, but about gaming. Like when someone tells me about a new game, I'm like, "What's its frame rate?"
You so are.
Yeah.
You so are like that.
And so like Jake got what did he get? He got some game, and I was like, "What's the frame rate like?" And he's like, and I'm like, "So not 60."
Yeah.
Is the answer to that question, because there's no question about it when it is.
Yeah,
and you know what? If you can play a really choppy, gross game, then I'm happy for you. I wish I could. It's not like a high horse thing. It's like, oh no, I'm too good for, like, this game is 30 FPS, but it is very consistent, and it's a third person, which is pretty much the only way 30 works. It also uses a very appropriate amount of motion blur. And they intentionally lowered the sensitivity of the camera and don't let you change that to mask the fact that the game is not running as well as it should be. Which is
something I will
a really
say.
Big argument that I won't get into.
Just for, Global and ABC's sake, if you're wondering what can be done about this, the answer is you basically just have to grow some balls, and that is a figurative term, but take it however you want, and decide to go after a certain market. You have to choose who the show's for and make the show for those people. See, purple. There's some purple.
Oh, there's some purple. Dude.
Anyways, and make the show for those people and be willing to stand behind that. And also remember that over time, you will teach your audience what to like, because your audience is so impressionable.
Good.
If they're going to watch your crap, they will watch your good content too. That's all I'm saying.
Good for many is great for no one.
Absolutely. Do you want to make good TV, or do you want to make great TV? And if you want to make good TV, I'm sorry, but you're in the wrong business.
I don't think so. I think they are in the right business. I think, unfortunately, while I may disagree with it, I think it's definitely, working for them.
Well, no, it's working for them from a financial perspective, but it just seems to me like, will you tell me, do you have fulfillment in your life? Do you really feel like the shows that you're creating give you the same kind of oomph that you would get if you were working on a Game of Thrones?
The kind of chutzpah?
Yeah. Do you want some chutzpah in your life?
That's actually not the right word. I'm pretty sure that means actually that kind of means like bravery or balls, I'm pretty sure.
Well, then I'll stick by that. Do you want some chutzpah in your life? I brutalized it that time.
This guy is a beast. He took 2 shots to the neck and just kept fuck.
Oh, brutal.
Fucking spike ass.
Brutal.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I could have kept going. I'm pretty sure those count as just a damage. Yeah.
No.
Gotham is a great example of like polished to within an inch of its life.
Yeah.
It's a show. It's a prequel show about a character we know survives to have a child. So every time you put Gordon in a dangerous position, you insult the intelligence of the audience. Gordon is not going to die. We see him as a 60-year-old man in the Batman trilogy. It's not high tension when someone has a gun to his head. Or fucking Bruce Wayne. We know he becomes Batman, alright? Like, stop doing that. He's in danger every goddamn episode. There's nothing exciting about it. There's no tension.
it's important to have danger because we know that was how they forged themselves, right?
Yeah.
They put themselves in dangerous situations, and that's how they became the men that they are. But you're right, that you're insulting the intelligence of the watcher by constantly doing it. It's, what's the principle where... diminishing returns.
Yeah.
That's the principle that's at work here. If you don't try to deal things out in a way that is manageable and exciting, then what you end up getting is just this soup of uninteresting, unchanging content. And that's what did you call it? Soft TV? That's what soft TV is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I will say for them is that there's a lot of people that like that shitty soft TV. So maybe I'm wrong. You know what? Maybe what you're doing is working for you, and maybe there's a lot of people that are happy with it.
I went into Travelers as a show to keep in the background while I played Hearthstone. And then I discovered it was a really, really good show. And it was one of the only moments where I actually intended on a show being background, and it turned into like the foreground of my life for like 2 weeks. And then since have never turned a show into that because I stopped playing mobile games at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, these
As an army right there.
at the end of the day, these things, like, I honestly put mobile games into the same category as soft TV. They will go away when we as a society grow up, and that's not going to happen for a long time.
I don't know if mobile games will ever go away.
I just mean the way in which they're currently consumed will change and
okay.
won't be as caustic, if you will.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
an interesting way to look at it. Wow.
We'll
okay,
see.
So thank you for joining us. More caustic, fiery discussions.
And a dragonfly.
Yeah.